Hello everyone, this is Ray. Today is an important day. It is the 25th of June 2025. We are currently playing update 46 for the zone of Western Solstice. And today is important because at around 10 a.m. Eastern, ZOS has allowed the use of add-ons and implemented the menus for us to access them in-game. There's a lot of apprehension. Yes, some add-ons are not working, but I would say after quite a bit of testing between myself and my friends, we found that most of them are working okay. We are in the initial days of add-ons for console, and it will be really up to the mod creators to try to fix them. Add-ons are not developed by ZOS. They are developed by mod creators, just regular people like you and I, not employed by ZOS. And I think some of the issues could also be on PlayStation's end that we will maybe describe later if we get to that. So I'm going to bring us through some menus so that we get acquainted with the menu systems. Okay, for add-ons, there's two locations that they can be accessed. The first would be in the character select screen. This current screen now that we are looking at is the character select screen, select character screen. In here, you go to the add-ons from options, you press triangle, and you will see the usual options. And at the bottom, added to this is add-ons. Right, if you click X into this, we will see browse add-ons and manage my add-ons. Currently, there are no add-ons installed here. The disk usage at the bottom right of the screen indicates 0 megabytes out of 100 megabytes. This is the console limit on PS5. We cannot install more than this total memory space allocation. Unfortunately for PS4s, because of the previous generation hardware, is not able to support add-ons. So this is for PS5 only. Okay, I'm going to enter the browse add-on screen right now to show what it looks like. We have browse add-ons and we have the name, users, and status. Users just shows how many instances of the add-on has been added by players in the game currently. At the top, there's a search bar. You can type in some free text and it will search for the either the title or maybe words inside the description of the add-on. In the categories, we have all these, I think there's 29 different types of categories, including the very important libraries which form the foundation of the add-ons to work. Basically, the libraries is a bit like the pantry where all the ingredients are, and then the magic of cooking the dishes happens in the outside of the actual add-ons itself. All right, so libraries have to be installed first before the add-ons will work. All right, and not all libraries are required, just the ones that are mentioned by the add-on creators. All right, so we have a whole list of add-ons that are by default showing in descending order in terms of their usage. But I'm going to show you sort of my way of doing it, that I found that you have a better and easier time with stable installs. So the first thing that we will be installing is Voltan's add-on list. What happens is that this auto-enables any dependencies, like any libraries that are required, so that you don't have to depend on the mod creators to have programmed them correctly to install them. Most of the add-ons are working okay. They will figure out and find the libraries for you. However, I've also discovered that some of them do not. You install the main add-on, but the library doesn't come in automatically. So this will help figure that out. It's just an add-on to assist the add-ons to install properly. So let's start with this first, right? Install, press X, and it will start doing a little rotation screen, the Ouroboros. Okay, the next one that we will do is we will now go into the users list. and toggle for this descending order, you'll be only installing 2 add-ons just to showcase this a little bit. Voltan's minimap, I'm going to install this, and by pressing this, even the libraries are also selected. The ones that have the word lib in front of it, from the name, they are usually the libraries, not always, but oftentimes. All right, and then while this is installing, we have to wait for them to finish installing before exiting this menu. Okay. The next one that we'll be using would be the very popular Dolgubon's Lazy Writ Crafter. Right, the Lazy Writ Crafter will just help with a lot of busy work and shorten your crafting routines. So let's install this. Install, right? And we can also now go into the status screen to toggle and look at the status of the installations. Both of them are being installed now. They usually install one at a time. As they finish installing, the Ouroboros icon will change into installed. So we just have to be patient, right? This takes a bit of time. There's quite a lot of computational wizardry behind the scenes. Be patient and wait for them to finish installing. There are a lot of other add-ons that you can try, but we'll be focusing on just these 2 first. The one that is a bit problematic at the moment is the one for the harvest map, but hopefully in the near future it will get fixed. So currently it is all installed. If you click R1, it will show you the installed add-ons. These are the few that are installed, and there is no status to say that it is broken. If you press select inside this installed add-ons menu, it will show you some options to uninstall, reinstall, ignore updates, report, and release notes. In the ignore updates, what happens is that a lot of the updates to the add-ons can be put into the game live by something like a hotfix and get patched in automatically. So if you're worried about sudden new patches breaking your game, for example, you could be doing a trial and you don't want to be auto-updating midway through something very important, you can just put a check mark on this to make it ignore any updates while you're doing your important things. Otherwise, if it's not too important, you can just leave it off so that updates will be applied as they are updated into the game. All right, and I'm going to go back out of this screen, and you can see this usage is 1 megabyte out of 100. This usage is an important thing to just keep an eye on when you log in. From what I've seen, the Portuguese translation add-on is around 79 megabytes in size because of all the text that is in there. So unless you absolutely need a translation mod, then I would recommend not to install any translations. Source on the forums has also replied and said that at the moment, translations are not being supported, even though they have allowed the add-on to be in. This has caused a number of users to have crashes when they install. I think there was an add-on for maybe the Italian translation. So just don't use translations at the moment until people have reported they are working properly. Right. This other menu is managed by add-ons. It will show you the list of add-ons that you have installed. This is just a way for you to disable them individually, one by one. When it's a bold check mark, it means that it's enabled for the characters. If you press X, it will be blackened out, and it will say on the right that it's not enabled for any of your characters. Right. So it's just an on and off button. If you press triangle, you're able to do a toggle all add-ons. Actually, this is worded a bit insufficiently. They should have said toggle the activation or deactivate all add-ons. So basically what this does is it's like a kill switch for everything. If something is not working and you need to like try and figure out what's happening, then you can toggle this. Everything will be turned off. Everything will be disabled. And then you just need to toggle this on again. All right. Okay, this also gives you the option to do a selection of whether you want to apply these changes to all characters or just to specific characters. Right? This is just something that you can choose on your own too. All right. With this, we are going to back out of this menu, and we'll be launching into the game. All right. Okay. So this message here comes from one of the add-ons, the Lazy Writ Crafter, to tell you how much more time until the servers reset for the daily crafting. All right. So on the screen now you see that there's a minimap. Right. By default, they have put down a minimap in this format, but we can edit the settings, positioning, font sizes. Yep, different things can be changed, and I'm going to show you where they are. So in the options menu, we still have the add-on menus for browsing and adding and managing them. For the add-ons that have settings in them, they are not managed from this menu. You have to back out of options, and you go into this new new option after social and before the activity finder. Right, we'll be doing some edits to the minimap, and I'm going to show you the settings that I use that makes the most sense for me. Right. Okay, first thing, the minimap it's best to show it so that you see what you're changing. There are all these settings for position, size, and displays. So we are going to come down to appearance first, all right? In many of the add-ons, because it is most of them are to do with the UI, the user interface, they will have a setting where they have a toggle to show the change now on screen, right? Even though we are in this submenu. So I'm going to toggle this to on, and the minimap will just show. This is like a preview way to look at the changes. So we will put this to now, how it's going to look. And the first thing we can be doing is changing the border style. This border with a very strange blocky line is a bit annoying, so I'm going to switch it to something different. This is default, this is modern, this is gamepad, and this is flat. So between gamepad and flat is very similar, except for a little white border, thin border in the gamepad option. I'm going to go with modern because I find it the cleanest. And the next thing I'm going to change would be the font size of the title, right? We can have large, huge, and smaller, small, medium. I'm going to change this to huge, and instead of having the title at the bottom, at the top on screen now, I'm going to shift it to the bottom. Sometimes these things happen. You have the setting that is not matching to what you're seeing. So what you have to do is just to toggle it a few times to make it refresh. And it is the same also when the game asks you to do a reload UI. You do a reload UI so that you can refresh the screen. Right? We'll shift this top and then bottom. Top, bottom. All right. Now it's showing at the bottom. And the two numbers there, the big numbers, they are the time and the in-game time. for Tamriel. So it is 1 a.m. Eastern, close to 2 a.m. now, 1:56 a.m. Eastern. And in-game time in Tamriel is 7:43 p.m. Right, you can change this if you want to. If you prefer 12-hour format, you can also change it. But I will just leave it to 24-hour for now. All right. The next thing that we can do is to change the position of this menu. So this slider will be used to shift it left and right. The Y, the grid Y would be to shift it up and down. So by pulling the slider to the left, this brings this upwards, right? And by bringing the slider to the left on the X bar, this will slide the minimap to the left, right? So this upper corner could be one spot that you want to leave it at. If you constantly or often play with other friends, you may want to adjust the Y setting, the grid Y, to somewhere in the middle so that you can see your party composition and also not overlap with the in-game messages on the bottom left corner, right? So just for simplicity, I'm going to position this all the way to the corner top, and you see that there's a limit. There is more on the slider that can go, but as I'm pressing the D-pad, the direction pad to the left, nothing is happening because this is the maximum on the screen allowed. Same thing for the X button. I can go to the right, but I cannot go any more to the left, even though the slider has positions. This extra is there because you can also change the size of the box here. Right, so it's allowing for the box size to also accommodate, but I'm just going to leave it in its default size. I think this size is sort of already good enough for me. I'm going to leave it at around 35, and we'll shift this back here and shift this back here. All right, so that's fine, and I'm backing out, and the minimap is now active on the screen. Right. The next thing I'll be doing is we'll be playing with the auto crafter, the lazy crafter. So let's go into the add-ons menu and go into the lazy Writ crafter. There are a lot of options that we can select, but I'm going to go through them the way I have done them on my other accounts. First, we will toggle all the way to the bottom. All the way to the bottom. We'll start from the bottom. So I'm going to switch the last 3 off. Basically, when it's turned off, it will abandon writs for that day that are requesting for a delivery of these said items. I suppose the mud crab chitin and the non-root could be something that people mostly would toggle to off because they're a bit rarer and lesser. If you have a great abundance of these materials, then you don't have to do toggle to off. You can just leave it on and they will accept the quest. Violet Copernicus, because this is an out account that doesn't do much farming and depends on my main account to send mats to, I'm going to leave this to off too. All right, these two are in good abundance, so we'll leave this to on so that we would be doing those writs. All of these are left on by default. The colors are left on. I'm going to leave this to be off for the moment. We will toggle this and show the difference later. We will be using icons, and I will do a toggle to show the difference between icons and no icons also. All right. Open containers on login is useful to have on or off depending on your requirements. I will have it off for the moment, but if you want to have a sequence where when you log in and you have ESO +2 where crafting bag is unlimited, then you can have this on and have all the materials get opened up and entered into your craft bag automatically. This toggles the hiring actions. Currently it's set to nothing. I'll put this to loot and delete. So when you have this option on, the only time it activates is when you go into your mail and go with the with the direction pad select into the hiring mail part Once you reach the highlinked mails and it detects highlinked mail, then this will be automatically processed. If you don't go into the mail menu and don't touch the highlinked section, then nothing actually happens. The mail will still be there. Okay, this is just some settings for crafting multiples. I will leave it as default. This is keeping a quest buffer of quests so that you maybe don't overwhelm your journal with extra quests. This one I'm going to leave as default, the change vertical color. For valuable reward alert, I'm going to toggle this to on so that it shows a message on the lower right if you receive gold materials or surveys. I think so far from what I've seen, it only alerts for those two things, gold materials and surveys. Save master writs prevents master writs from being accepted. This is just, I guess, a fail-safe in case you accidentally click on a master writ to accept it. So this has to be intentionally turned off in order for you to read any master writs. I will put this to on. And we have also a loot container when received. This is at the point of receiving the reward container when you turn in the crafting quest. They will just behind the scenes open the container. If you have craft back, then the mats will just go in there automatically. If not, then they will just go into your inventory. All right, so basically the rest of them I'm going to leave as default. This is also quite important. It is a setting where it tells you whatever you change in this menu will be applied across the whole account. All right, so I have this turned off for now because I don't only have one character on this account. If you want to, once you're very sure that everything is working right, then you can use this as maybe a turn on. You are changing account-wide settings. Use character settings. Use specific settings on this character only. Yeah, so if you have it turned on, then it will be only for the character. If you have it turned off, then anything that you change, it will be account-wide. All right, this is what it's saying. So I'm only having one character. This doesn't really matter to me. If you're worried about the settings being applied across the whole accounts, then you can put it to on to make it only character. All right. Okay, I'm going to back out the menu and let's do some interactions, and I will narrate what I'm doing on the screen. All right, this is the the equipment crafting writs. I'm going to press X just one time. And just by pressing X one time, all of the writs have been taken up by the add-on. And you see at the bottom of the screen, this little bar. I will try to zoom in for us to take a better look at it. So this thing here, you see 137 out of 180. That is your inventory space. And then you have the red icons and white icons. Red means that you've picked them. You've picked the writs quest up, but not yet crafted them yet for completion. Gray means you have not picked up the quest yet. All right. So let's go into the add-ons to show the difference between having icons and having letters. Right. So under the section for status bar, this is status bar. You either toggle on or off the status bar. All right. The inventory tracker, it can be toggled on or off. It will show the number or not show the number. All right. Icons, when they toggled on or off, they will either show the alphabetical, blacksmith, clothing, woodworking, jewelry, and so on, or go by icons. I prefer icons because it looks a bit more less jumbled up, less alphabetical soup. And then the transparent bar is also important because sometimes you might have your food buff on, and that could interfere with you reading what's on the screen. Let's have this on and see whether you can see the difference. All right. So now it's not too bad, but if you have different kinds of effects ongoing, it can be a bit confusing. Let's maybe try to activate some things and see whether. Yep. So yep, now you can see because of the extra icons, they are sort of making a bit the things a bit hard to read, right? Your food is also being occluded, right? So what we'll do is, instead of having all these things on screen overlapping, I am going to toggle the setting to make the transparent bar be off with a black border, so that we can see the crafting more clearly, right? And this bar will go away. Once your crafting is done, then the bar will go away. So you don't have to worry about this blocking your view of anything when you're playing the game. So now I'm going to go into the use menu of the clothing station. I'm going to press X one time. And right now at the top of the screen, you will see a little dialog box that's telling you what's happening, right? Once the crafting is done, it exits, right? And I only press X one time. We're going to do this again at the blacksmith station. Press X one time, and the crafting is done automatically. And you can look at the bottom of the screen, the update on the menu, on the inventory space, and the update on the icon turning from red to green, right? The next one will be woodworking. All right, this is done. Next again, click one time on the crafting board and it's received all the things that were a go instantly. I've already pre-crafted some of the provisionings and alchemy, so those are already greened. Now I only need to interact with the enchanting table now one time, and it's done. Because this is an old account, which who doesn't have Somerset and access to jewelry crafting, that one will be left undone, and that is fine, right? So now what we'll do is we will go into the turn-in stations. All right, and I'm going to click X one time, and the add-on just helps you to accept the reward and open up the box if there's a box available there. Okay. If you hear the sound effects at the background, is the sound of the boxes being opened up automatically. All right, I'm going to show it by going to the menu to see whether we have any extra boxes that are unopened. These are just from previous events that I've saved up, just for testing purposes. All right, so yep, all the boxes that came from the writs have been opened up. And so this shortcuts a lot of things. Let's finish this off with the next 4. We just click one time, click one time, click one time, click one time, and we can mount up while the game is taking care of the boxes. Right, everything is already taken care of. Right, no more boxes. All done. Yep. So I still have one more jewelry writ to be done, which cannot be done finished. So that's why the bar is showing there. Let's try to delete and abandon that quest. And once the quest is gone, that bar for auto crafting is also removed. All right. Yep. And so that's it. This simplifies quite a number of things. One last thing I want to mention is when we are installing new add-ons, it's best to go slow and do them one by one, so that when something breaks, you know how to solve where the cause of the problem was, and you can quickly undo. If you decide to just keep installing add-on after add-on without testing them one by one, you might run into a problem where you have no idea what's causing the problem, right? So I would strongly recommend to try one add-on at a time, make sure that it's working as intended before moving on to the next one. All right. Okay, so that's it for this video. Maybe I will do a bit more if there's other things that we want to talk about, but I will leave the selection of add-ons to you, and hopefully you have some fun with them. All right, thank you for tuning in and enjoy. I'll see you next time.